Alrighty. I got a message saying that Unreal had updated, and I was almost going to go to bed, and then I ummed and ahed whether I wanted to do anything with that tonight or wait till I wake up, and it's 3 in the morning now, so I'm having a look at it. So obviously Fortnite switched to Unreal 5, and so did Rocket League. So now that I think Epic's got a few games using it internally, they hopefully will start updating it. So Unreal 5 switched to Preview now, as you see. So it used to be Early Access 2, now it's Preview 1. Now, if you've been using Unreal for a little bit, you know there's usually a couple of previews and then the final release. So fingers crossed we're getting close to a final release. I'll just quickly go through what's changed in case you haven't seen it. Basically, there's some stuff with Nanite to do with performance. Lumen, the biggest ones are completely support ray tracing hardware now, which is really good for if you own a RTX card for performance, as well as supporting a bit of better quality, especially on foliage, which I know it wasn't doing too well, and properly supporting translucency now. So it used to not support translucency. Virtual shadow maps have gotten a few upgrades. The path tracer from Unreal 4.27 has made it into Unreal 5. I don't believe any of the end display stuff have, though. World partition, which I've used a few times, although not many people talk about, that supports sequencer now, as well as a few extra good things about it. Control rig's got some new stuff. There's also this thing called IK retargeter, which will be really cool, I think. So just some visual changes as well. We've got a different play section up here, different mode selection. There's like a splash of color, I think. A few things look a different, slightly more colorful, I think, or vibrant. It's hard to tell. That just pops out more. But other than that, it's probably just the same old Unreal 5 most people know and love. I don't think anything's changed in here. Working color space, that's new. That's very new. Okay, there was no mention of that. So there's this working color space. Interesting. Aces, CG. Alright, so that may mean that we can sort of have Unreal work in a new working color space. That's kind of cool. Use plugin for global illumination. Interesting. Global illumination doesn't have anything new. Lumen has a ray tracing mode, though, with some options. Let's have a look at that in a minute. So if I support, yes, ray trace skylight, that's new. Path tracing is an option now. Lumen hit lighting gives the highest reflection quality, but it increases GPU cost as the material needs to be evaluated. Surface cache to light. This method gives better reflections performance. Interesting. So we've got an option for performance versus quality. Handy dandy. Software tracing, that's the same. Software tracing, static lighting, sure. I don't think any of these look any different. Nope. Alrighty, I'm curious what this is. I'm gonna have a look in the documentation. Alright, I had to look at the Unreal 5 documentation, and there is no mention of this working color space thing. My two guesses are either this is the color space Unreal works in, or is the color space Unreal outputs in. Although changing it didn't seem to actually affect the viewport at all, so I'm not 100% sure on what it's actually doing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw a couple of scenes in here to test out some of the new, like the foliage and stuff like that, I think. I'm also going to go ahead and disable static lighting. We'll turn on ray tracing. Ray trace skylight. Alrighty, that's finished compiling. I was just playing around with the IK rig remapping. I got sort of halfway there. Seems pretty simple. We'll probably be looking at that tomorrow morning when I'm supposed to wake up. But I think it may actually solve some issues I was having with the original retargeting system in Unreal. So hopefully this means I can finish a tutorial I've been meaning to do. But I'll leave that for another day. So I've imported two maps. I'm going to start with this jungle map. I think it's this overview one. So hopefully this will test out. Nope, that was not the right map. Showcase, I imagine it is then. Alrighty, my computer randomly restarted. Not sure if that's a Unreal fault or something else. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Right as it finished compiling. Shaders. I'm hoping it doesn't have to do it again. It might have to. Right, cool. Landscape material needs to be rebuilt, so I'll just hit build all levels quickly. That's done. The other thing I'm going to do is go into the light, and I'm going to switch the skylight and the sun to both be movable. I'm going to enable real-time capture on the skylight, because why not? Is foliage better? I've technically had this scene open in Unreal 5 previously. If you watch my Blender video on what on earth is happening to these trees. What is happening there? This map may be looking a little better. I might put a comparison of that video and this video next to each other. Where was I? I think I was over here somewhere. I can't tell if it's any better. I think it's a little better. I remember it looking a little washed out previously. This is looking a little better. I have no idea what's happening with these trees. That's so strange. Here we go. Translucency is something I can test though. And I think it looks good. Nope, that is screen space. I've just now realized. I've also realized that it's possible. No, reflections, global illumination. So as I take the highlight here on the boulder off the screen, it disappears in a reflection. So it's using screen space reflection still. I've just now also noticed there's a specific film grain section in the post-process settings. That's new as well. Or if not new, there's a lot more in there. Interesting. Ray lighting mode? Okay, I can change how the ray tracing works on a per on a sort of per process material. I'm not sure if that's gonna offer much difference. I can't notice any physical difference. Translucency, raster, ray. I could switch it to ray trace, but we're not using ray traced. Interesting. I'm very curious how to get the ray trace translucency working now. Hey, that's cool. There's like settings to jump to. Is that for everything? Wait a minute. Hey, that is cool. Alright, there's some nice quality of life improvements by the looks of things. I can jump to certain settings of my actor. That's always nice to know. I just want to check local exposure. That's new as well. Regular exposure, that looks standard. Then there's something called local exposure. Contrast reduction. Middle gray bias. That is new. Tone curve amount. That's new. Is that just the tone mapper? That's kind of... I'm curious to see a cine camera now. It says cine camera. Is there anything... Do you... Alrighty, the restarts are getting worse. It's now about a minute before it turns off. Not sure if this is an Unreal related problem or something else. My computer's been rather stable up until... Alrighty, Unreal lost about 16 seconds that time around before crashing. My computer turned off. I don't know if it's an Unreal problem or not. Computer's been rather stable up until this point, so... But I still want to straight up blame Unreal 5. It's an interesting thing. I'm going to have to look into it. Still not production ready either way. Lot to unpack. So hopefully I will be doing a little bit of that in the next coming days. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.